Yo guys, I hope you're having a nice day today. My name is Lakesh, and today I'm gonna teach you the pluperfect tense. Prior knowledge, this is what I'm expecting you to know before I teach you the pluperfect. I'm expecting you to know how to conjugate avoir and être in the imperfect tense. I'm expecting you to have a thorough understanding of how to conjugate any verb in the past tense. If you have any doubts on those two topics at all, I highly recommend that you go revisit those two videos, because the pluperfect is essentially a combination of those two grammar concepts. So if you have learned these two grammar concepts, the pluperfect should be quite straightforward. However, if you haven't learned these two topics, the pluperfect is going to be hard. So please pause this video if you need to, go learn those two topics and master it, and then continue this video once you've mastered these two topics. So now I'm going to crack on, presuming you know your imperfect and past. When do we use the pluperfect, first of all? So the first way of explaining it is to describe an action that happened before an action. When I started my homework, I had already played 3 hours of computer games. So let's get a timeline now. So when I started my homework was an event in the past. I had already played 3 hours of computer games. This action of playing 3 hours of computer game happened before this event. And that is why I use the pluperfect. It's to describe an event, i.e. playing 3 hours of computer games, that happened before an event, i.e. when I started my homework. Another example is quand j'ai commencé mes devoirs, j'avais déjà joué 3 heures. The second way of explaining it, which is essentially saying the same thing but in different words, is that the English equivalent is to say I had done something. So she had eaten. I had ate. She had finished. They had played tennis. We had watched television. You get the idea. Before I teach you how to conjugate a verb in the pluperfect, let's quickly review how do we conjugate a verb in the past tense. Firstly, let's get a translation out. She died. Verb is mourir, which is to die. We first ask ourselves, is it a Mrs. Van der Tram verb? Yes, mourir is the M in Mrs. Van der Tram, yes. So we're going to use the present of être. The personal pronoun is she, so we're going to use the L form of être, which is elle. So that's the first half of the conjugation done, elle. And then the second half of the conjugation is going to be the past participle. Sadly, mourir is not a regular verb, so we're going to have to recall it's a regular past participle. If you really know your past tense well, you would know that it's more, M-O-R-T. Then the third step, ask yourself, is it an être verb? Yes, it is an être verb. It's in Mrs. Van der Tram. Is it plural? No, it's just talking about one person. Is it feminine? Yes, it's talking about go. So we're going to have to add an E onto that past participle. So LA, more. More being the past participle, E being the agreement. So how do we conjugate a verb in the pluperfect? How does this relate to the pluperfect at all? It's the exact same as the past tense, except you're just conjugating the imperfect of avoir être instead of the present of avoir être. It's had and an action attached to it, so we're going to have to use the pluperfect. Mourir is the verb to die. Mourir is a Mrs. Van der Tram verb. We're conjugating the pluperfect this time, so we're going to get the imperfect of être. The pronoun is elle, so we're going to get the L form of the imperfect of être, which is elle était. And then past participle, which is the exact same as the past tense. Past tense of mourir is sadly irregular. We recall that the irregular past participle of mourir is more, M-O-R-T, and then we ask ourselves, do we need to add agreements? Yes, it's a Mrs. Van der Tram verb, so it's an être verb. If it's plural, no, it's referring to one person. If it is a feminine, yes, we're talking about a girl here. So we're going to add an E onto that participle, so more. So M-O-R-T is the regular past participle of mourir, the verb to die, and E is an agreement. Okay, let's go through another conjugation. He had played. The verb here is jouer, which is to play. Had played means that we have to use the pluperfect to conjugate jouer in the pluperfect tense. We ask ourselves, is it a Mrs. Van der Tram verb? No. So we're going to use the imperfect of avoir. The personal pronoun is he, so we're going to have to use the il form of the imperfect of avoir, which is il avait. So that's the first half of a conjugation done. The second half of a conjugation going to be the past participle, exact same as the past tense. Jouer is a regular er verb, so we chop off the er and we add an e with an accent. And we ask ourselves, do we need agreements? No, we don't, because jouer is a non-Mrs. Van der Tram verb, so we don't need any of those agreements. So il avait joué. Another conjugation. So we had stayed. So had stayed means we're going to have to use the pluperfect here. Rester is the verb to stay. Therefore, we have to conjugate the verb rester in the pluperfect tense. Rester is a Mrs. Van der Tram verb, so we have to use the imperfect of être. The personal pronoun is we, so we have to use the new form of imperfect of être, which is nous étions. So that's the first half of a conjugation done. The second half of a conjugation is the past participle, exact same as the past tense. Rester is a regular ER verb. We chop off the ER, we add an E with an accent. Then we ask ourselves, do we need to add agreements? Yes, we do have to add agreements because rester is a Mrs. Van der Tram verb, which means it's an être verb. Is the personal pronoun plural? Yes, we is plural because it's referring to more than one person, so we add an S. Rester. Obviously, if this group is full of girls with no guys at all, we will have to also add E as well. That's how you conjugate and use the pluperfect tense. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you good luck with your French studies.